Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Kelly Williams, the prodigal son, talking about Summerbration tomorrow. What time does this all get started?
12 o'clock.
Okay.
To 5 o'clock p.m.
Wow, you're doing a lot in 5 hours.
I know. We actually have the whole day, but we had to shut it down because I want to go see the fireworks at Lake Mohawk.
Okay. So. Well, I'm glad you got your priorities straight. So next year, go into the night and have fireworks at the end of Summerbration.
We were actually trying to coordinate that with the fireworks. So you just never know what's going to happen when you leave Summerbration. You never know what we're going to direct you to.
That's right.
You just never know what's going to happen.
Maybe the whole group just moves down to Lake Mohawk.
That'd be
sounds
crazy.
So fun. This just sounds like an amazing way to wrap up and culminate a family's 4th of July week and their celebration. And it's free, basically.
Yes.
A lot of things are free.
Right.
Or very low cost.
Very low cost. The only thing that you're going to pay for is the food. Because we have vendors who are coming out. Not just regular vendors, but carnival-style vendors. We have funnel cakes, elephant ears, barbecue. We're going to have a grill going, too. What else, man? We got snow cones, cotton candy. It's just going to be a fun day. If you don't come, you're going to be upset because everyone else is going to be like, why didn't you get there? Why
They'll all be talking about it.
You know? Yeah, you got to come.
Yeah.
Don't just say, I'll wait to see what happens next year.
Tell me about your involvement with Hip Hop to Reduce Violence. Let's talk about that program.
SERVE is a community initiative to reduce violence, and that's headed by Pastor Walter Moss and Jim Knight for Prosecutor John Ferrara's office. And that organization has been in existence for quite some time. So we do a few different things. We work with the Stark County Family Courts, and we do these things called juvenile call-ins every few months, a couple times a year, where we bringing in kids who are influential into the streets, and we're telling them a message about stopping the violence and, what the violence will do for your life and family, because we're all affected by it.
Yes.
And then we also do one with the adults as well, telling them the same exact thing to tell the younger kids, don't follow in your same footsteps because this is where you're going to end up. And then that turned into the Hip Hop Against Violence, just summer events, family fun days, and led us to Summerbration.
Yeah.
So
much of hip hop, as you kind of alluded to in the first half, so much of hip hop music and rap music has violent themes.
Yeah.
So how do you make really good, nationally recognized, up for Grammy and Stellar Awards type of music that completely has a different message?
It's really just God's grace, man, really what he wants to happen. When I think of writing music, I'm actually, creating scenarios, situations that I've personally been in and situations that other people have been in, or even topics that's, relevant, to our life today. And I really just, in the music, I'm really just hoping to give you just that hope of, well, I don't have to do this. Like a lot of the kids that I'm mentoring in our music academy, when they first come in, they're like, I want to write about this. And I'm like, yeah, but these are the rules. You can't cuss, you can't steal, you can't rob nobody, you can't kill anybody. Well, wait a minute, but that's not hip hop. Hip hop music didn't start off that way. Hip hop music was really just our voices, just telling people what we were experiencing and going through.
Storytelling.
Yeah, and then it just evolved into, I'm going to kill you and we're going to sell these drugs and make all this money, and these women are, and have a lot of babies. And that really just took a turn in our whole society as a whole. And I just really wasn't living that lifestyle anymore, so I couldn't talk about it. Like I said, when my daughter asked me, why do I cuss so much in the music, and I had no answer for her, I just really started to question other artists, like, why do you do that? Not degrading anyone else's musical style or what they like to listen to, but the messages and the words that we speak are so important because it actually will occur in your life and those who emulate what you're speaking about as well. So I just choose to go a positive route, so I can just actually just you listen to me and you'll have a longer, happier life.
It's what you fill your spirit with, really.
Yes, yeah.
So much of what we hear musically, for some reason, gets embedded in there. It's an easier way to memorize things. You put anything to any kind of a beat or any kind of music, for some reason that gets ingrained.
Yeah.
We're able to come up with songs that we heard when we were little kids for some reason, jingles.
It sticks into that subconscious mind, and that subconscious mind is really what we're living off of. Because when you as the Bible say, what you put into you is, what comes out.
That's what
and
comes out.
It's very important that, I'm not denouncing any other artist, but for me personally, when you hear my music, and you're going to be like, wow, this dude is positive. And you might not even like it. You may not like it. You may not want to buy it, or you may not want to tell other people about it. But I can guarantee you, when you listen, you're going to get something from it. And then when you go to listen to something else, or my hopes is that when you start to do something else that's against what you really, really feel your parents brought you up as, you're going to be like, prodigal son said that. And I just, really, I just want to leave a legacy. I listen to artists who's gone, who's passed on now. I even listen to pastors who's passed on now, and their words are still resonating with me. And I listen to them like there's a guy, Reverend Ike. He died in 1977, and I listen to him, and his words are relevant to me today as they probably were in 1977. So just imagine 30 years from now, I may be making music for kids and people 20 years from now I'll probably never ever meet.
That's right.
And they just inspired them to, I just feel like that's my voice to the world. That's what I'm supposed to do.
When you get to meet some of the young people who do look up to you, maybe through this program, or kids who listen to your music, talk to you after they've heard you perform, do you ever see yourself in them?
All the time.
What would you like to say to them?
Like, you cannot base what's happening in your life right now as what it's going to be for the rest of your life. I always had hope and dreams and desire that I was going to be doing exactly what I'm doing, sitting in a radio station, talking about music and talking about events. I had these visions as a kid, but the life that I was living, as a kid, I couldn't see it happening. I didn't know how it was going to happen. And, I had people in my family that say it would never happen. And those kind of things fueled me too. But, I would, there's a pastor who's passed on, Pastor George Dunaway, and he told me, I remember he told me, he said, you can either, sell drugs or make positive music. And then I got in trouble and, got locked up for a little bit. And it was a CEO who told me the same thing. If you can sell drugs, why don't you sell music? And I was like, no, nobody want to hear no positive music. And he was like, well, you never know. Give it a try. And, it's years later. And
how very, very cool now that you are working full circle with a prosecutor's office.
That's crazy. I mean, the people who helped put me behind bars is the same people I'm working with to help other
colleagues
people
now.
Stay out of it. And we're really cool. And people go through experiences in life, and I always told them I wasn't doing this stuff just to do it and be cool. I was really surviving. I literally was just surviving. And I didn't really know other way. My father was he was on alcohol. He was alcoholic, and I could tell people that, and they're like, oh no, he wasn't. He was such a great guy. Well, you saw him as that person, but I saw him at home as a totally different, totally different person. In church one day one way, and then as soon as we come out of the church, it's a total different way. But I lived that that life, and that's a lot of what my music is about. So when you ask me, what do I see these kids and what do I see in them? I see me in them because I see a lot of them single family homes. I wasn't in a single family home, but my father, we didn't have a connection, so I was really connected to my stepmom. My mother, my real mother, I was giving up, for adoption, and she was, still on drugs. So, I'm in their same situations, and I have compassion for them. And it's not anything, for money, or it's not anything, to say, oh, he's a great community guy and all these kids around him. Like, this is really what I said I was going to do before I even came back from Florida.
Wow.
That's what I've been doing. My music career has always taken me into juvenile and adult facilities. And I had no idea that was going to lead to what I'm doing. I was just following the path and just doing things that I just knew, was in my spirit to do. And, I was really just God talking to me, and, I just followed the script.
I love the way you said that, because no child signs up for that kind of a rough start.
None.
And no child is born suspicious of the people around them.
Right.
But it seems like what our community and what you are doing is helping to build trust among people in the community. You want to talk about trust a little bit?
Trust is very important for a kid. Like Officer Lamar Sharp, he has a Better Me Foundation. And with him, I see, how he was connecting with the kids through social media. I seen that from Florida. And then when I got to Canton, we did a couple of things. I would just offer my service to him, like, if you need us to do anything, let us know. And it wasn't for me to be connected with him to be like, oh, you're connected with Lamar. That wasn't it. It was just, I was really saying it. If you need any help, let us know. But trust is so important, because if the kid can't trust you, you're not going to build a relationship with them. If you're not going to build a relationship with them, then they're going to tell you their problems and issues. And then there's no way for you to actually inject what you've been through to give them some kind of hope. I have this one kid in my academy, LJ, and I don't think he'll be mad if I say this, but he came from Pennsylvania to Canton, and, I'm not sure what his road was on, but I could tell when I first met him, he was just like me. It was one decision that could take him to left. It's one decision that could take him right. And he told me, he was like, okay, Kel, man, look, I'm going to give this a try. If this don't work, I'm just going to do what I got to do.
Again, surviving.
Yeah, I got to survive. And, I said, just trust me.
Yes.
I said, you can't rush it. You can't rush the process. Just trust the process. And so instead of him selling drugs, he sells his music. He has a job at Wendy's. He's, a 3-point above student in school. His mom and his brothers are, very influential in his life, and he loves them dearly. And I work with, other kids at Tikva, and I see me in them, not even that. I was working with Calvary Chapel over the summer and in the school year. Same situations. And like you say, the kids don't sign up for this. But, it's our decisions as adults that put them in the situation,
Yes.
And so they're living our decisions.
Yes.
And so it's our job, other people, including the parent who in that decision, to make another decision and say, okay, I'm going to help this kid, or even this young adult to not be in this situation more, like give them something that they can actually believe in, see in themselves. And that's really what I do. I really just dig inside of them so that they can see who they are. Because a lot of people, let's say kids, they don't really have that. They have the hope and the desire, but sometimes they don't have the motivation because they don't see anybody else doing it. When I took LJ to Las Vegas for the Stellars, first plane ride, first time in the airport.
Wow.
And, it was funny because he was like, what do I do? And I was like, go to the counter, go to the kiosk. Like, well, what do I do? Like, press the buttons and they're going to tell you. And I didn't want to give him all the directions. I wanted him to kind of figure it out and be like, have that experience.
Yes.
But the coolest thing is we arrived in Vegas at nighttime. So, we went to the Strip and he saw the lights. But the coolest thing was when we woke up the next morning, he opened up the curtains and all he saw was the mountains and the hotels. And he was like, I want this for the rest of my life. Yeah. And he sat on the edge of the bed and I saw him crying. And I was just like, he was like, man, I prayed for this and it's happening. And I was like, man, just trust the process. Mm-hmm. So that's what we want for kids, man.
You certainly see God's hand on your life in all of this, don't you?
I know. I know it is. You know, I mean, if people just knew what I've endured, the resilience I had to have in order to sit in this seat today, I mean, they would be like, wow, okay, wow.
Well, tomorrow's going to be an awesome, awesome day.
Yes.
It all gets started off at noon. Tell us all the particulars, where and how and when.
Market Square. Mm-hmm. Market Square. Everybody knows what Market Square is in downtown Canton, right next to the Canton Brewery, across the street from the Rinkert Building, right down the street from the Palace. So we're right in the middle of the heart of the city. And we're going to be spilling over from 3rd Street to 4th Street to the lot across from VXI. It's going to be a lot of excitement, I'm really excited to see the police utility vehicles.
Yes, yes. Follow the music. You can't miss it.
Follow the music. Look for the big, giant, 60-foot pirate ship.
That's right.
If you can't see that, you're in the wrong place.
Kelly Williams, thank you for all you do in our community.
Thank you, Miss Susie. I appreciate it.